without any further ado, we welcome to the program our friend, the former governor of Minnesota, Tim Pawlenty, is back on the Common Sense Club. How are you, Governor?
Scott, I'm doing great. I'm down in Florida campaigning like crazy, but whose book is that you were referring to? Is that Governor Schaefer's or yours, or whose book?
That's my book, as a matter of fact. It's out, and I was just mentioning that you're in it, by the way. So, in it.
I'm honored to be in it.
Yeah. Well, it's all about folks I met along the Tea Party Trail. I'm half embarrassed to talk about writing a book because, I don't want to sound hoity-toity, and like but it really is. What was awesome for me is just telling the story of people on the trail and how people are, concerned for the direction of this country and making a difference. So they are out there on the Tea Party Trail making a difference. You see them every day on this campaign, don't you?
I sure do, and one of the heartening things about it gives me hope and optimism, and not just in the campaign, but for the country, is just exactly what you said. The spirit of Americans, in terms of their individual responsibility, their patriotism, their hard work, their creativity, their concern for others, their faith, their strength. The strength of this country does not reside in our bureaucracies, as you know. It resides in our people, and when you see that spirit, it gives you great hope. It gives you great confidence. Unfortunately, our government is disrespecting that, weighing it down, discouraging it, taxing it, making it heavier, and that's why we got to fight back and throw off that yoke and understand the greatness of this country is in us, in that American spirit.
Boy, is it ever. I want to ask you about a couple of things. President Obama comes out today, scolds Congress, by the way, uses his daughter saying, they're smarter than you guys, basically. Although, big gaffe today, he got one of the ages of his daughters wrong, but I'm sure it's a gaffe we won't hear much about in the mainstream media. But the criticism directed at Congress was for not coming to an agreement on the debt ceiling. Does Barack Obama deserve any blame for the lack of an agreement here?
Well, of course he does. He's the President of the United States. He's our chief executive. He's the one who's to be putting leadership out on the big issues of the day. And you look at the things that are most threatening to this country, for example, the need to reform our spending and the programs underneath that, like Social Security and Medicaid and the like. Where is he on those issues? You can't even find him on those issues. And to suggest that, have the Congress just, get things done and he sits on his hands is ridiculous. The leader must lead, and he is the main leader, and he needs to be the one who puts the markers out on these issues, and he just perpetually, consistently refuses to do it.
I read with great interest, read some of the media coverage and watched with interest your speech yesterday on foreign policy. You've chided some of your fellow candidates here pretty strongly for getting weak-kneed on foreign policy this week. There's a poll out today that showed support for Obama's Afghanistan withdrawal. Do you think that's part of what's going on, even among Republicans, foreign policy governed by polls, not principle here?
Well, it may be the case. I know it's not popular. I know people are understanding these issues. I know they cost money and the like, but my goodness, we have a country that is exceptional. It has exceptional responsibilities. We already have one party, our opponents, who are dedicated to retreat and withdrawal and minimalism in terms of America's place in the world. We don't need two parties. And when you have Admiral Mullen and when you have General David Petraeus, one of the most effective generals in the modern history of the country, saying, we need those surge troops, or would like them there, a little while longer so we can at least get that next increment of progress of training up and creating some space to train up the Afghan security forces a little more, both in quality and volume, so that as we draw down, they're willing to stand up a little better. You give that great deference. But instead, we have a president now who puts out a schedule that coincidentally seems a lot like the campaign calendar next year, and it rejects the initial recommendations of both the Joint Chiefs of Staff leader and General David Petraeus. And I think I'm not one to sit here and say we have to or should stay in Afghanistan indefinitely and nation build or have some sort of democracy based in Kabul as our goal, but our goal should at least be let's get what the general said is the next thing and hopefully final thing is just get those Afghan security forces to a point where we can draw down as they stand up. And Petraeus wanted a little more time. The president didn't give it to him. And it's concerning, amongst many other concerning and I think delayed and timid and weak decisions that this president has made in foreign policy, including sticking his thumb repeatedly in the eye of our great friend and ally, Israel.
You said in the speech America already has one political party devoted to decline, retrenchment, and withdrawal. It does not need a second one. Is it your opinion that more moderate candidates, especially on this issue, like Governor Romney and and Ambassador Huntsman are the folks that are going to get us to that point and lead a party. I mean,
They appear to have a different view. They appear to have supported the direction of the troop withdrawal in Afghanistan, and I don't want to speak for them, but that's how their comments have been summarized in the press. And I worry a lot, Scott, about the division now within the conservative ranks on these issues. I have one strong view and represent one side of it, and I feel strongly about it. I'm going to defend it and call it out. There are others now in the party who have a very different view of it, and they'll have to explain for themselves their position. But I believe history teaches us that when you're dealing with thugs and bullies, and that's mostly what we're dealing with in terms of the security threats to the United States, we got to project strength. We're going to have to remain diligent. We're going to have to remain vigilant. It's not always easy. It's not always popular. It's not always cheap. But there is only one person in the country who can, remind the American people, mobilize them, and raise awareness, and have the bully pulpit and the megaphone to do it, and that's the president. And this president has refused to do it, and when he has done it, it's been tardy and half-baked, and now we've got a exit strategy from Afghanistan that's based on a campaign schedule, in my view, rather than the security needs in that country for the United States.
Some of our listeners, never trusted John McCain because of his maverick status and also some of his moderate policies in the past. And I can't imagine what they would think if Republicans go the same route again against a vulnerable Obama. What is the biggest danger of the Republican Party nominating a moderate candidate for president, in your view?
I think we got an excellent chance of defeating this president. We got $4 a gallon gas. We got a federal government that's out of control. We got crushing levels of unemployment. He made major promises to the American people. He's broken almost every one of them, including saying he was going to reduce the deficit in half in his first term. So I think the main way the Republicans can goof this up is to nominate a candidate who's got severe limitations. And what I bring to the table is proven executive, seasoned leadership in an executive position, but also results on these things, conservative results. Cato Institute gave me an A, and I'm only one of 4 governors in the country that got that grade. The other 3 aren't running for president. And so I will have the best record in this regard. And I also then can go out into these swing areas and get the votes we need to win. My goodness, I got elected and reelected in Minnesota, one of the most difficult environments in the country. So that's what I can bring to the table, Scott, and got a record of not just talking about these things, but doing it.
One of our listeners wanted to know when candidates like yourself would start engaging each other in debates instead of debating persons. I'm largely referring to the refusal to engage Romney at the last debate over the Massachusetts healthcare reform law. You would think after that said that was a mistake for Luke's point. I mean, do you feel like you need to attack your GOP opponents for the nomination more to highlight the differences here?
Well, there's going to be issue differences between us, and I think that's fair game in a debate and otherwise. At that moment, I decided to stay focused on President Obama and related issues rather than turn it on to one of the Republicans. But it was a direct question. I think the press was expecting a skirmish between me and Mitt Romney, and in response to a direct question, I should have answered it more directly. But I said that before. I'll say repeatedly, and I'll say it in the upcoming debates. If you're going to challenge the president, and one of the top 3 issues in the country is going to be health care reform and the lack of wisdom of the national health care reform, so-called Obamacare, you're not going to be able to prosecute that political case very effectively if you were one of the co-conspirators in the original creation of the idea or the charge.
By the way, speaking of fellow candidates, former Minnesota GOP Chairman Ron Kerry, who served while you were governor, came out and endorsed you for president. But while he did it, he was quite critical of Michelle Bachmann, saying she's not ready for the presidency and does not have the demeanor and the readiness to serve as president. Your reaction to what Ron Kerry said, do you agree with him?
Well, every candidate brings something different to the table, and I think you do, for me, I offer somebody who's had executive leadership position in a big government under crisis with getting conservative change, not just directionally, but with results. And I think people are going to want to see that in a president. And so that's one of the criteria. I think, do you have the requisite experience, results, record, judgment, seasoning, and the like to be in the Oval Office, be President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief, leader of the free world. I'm honored that Ron thought I had those capabilities.
You had made a comment some time ago saying, there's other candidates in there and sort of referring to a Hulk Hogan factor. Do you put Michelle Bachmann in that category of those you were critical of in that comment?
Well, I've known Michelle, and I've campaigned for her. I've got respect for her. I've always said positive things about her. Again, everybody brings something different to the table. She's got strengths and weaknesses like everybody else, but I've respected her, said positive things about her. And voters will have to make their judgment about what they want. But I think in terms of the Republican Party, we got an excellent chance to win this back. That we're going to keep the House. I think in all likelihood, we got a very good chance of winning the Senate. And the difference between getting the stuff done that we believe in or not is going to be who's in the White House. And if you look at Barack Obama's numbers nationally, they're not very good. But if you look at them in the swing states, they're awful. And if the main way we're going to lose this thing is to put forward a candidate who can't be viewed by the rest of the country and the rest of our party as appealing and successful and incredible. I bring that to the table, and the others can put their record or credentials out for people to consider in that regard as well.
And what Ron Kerry is essentially saying is that she does not. Michelle Bachmann does not, as someone that knows both of you, obviously, from his time in Minnesota politics. So it sounds to me like you're agreeing with Ron Kerry on his criticism of Michelle.
Well, I didn't talk to Ron about that piece, Scott, and so it speaks for itself, and he can speak for himself. I'm just telling you, I have said and continue to say positive things about Michelle. She can make her own case about her record and what she brings to the table, and I'm not talking on her behalf. I'm talking about on my own behalf.
I want to ask you one other quick thing. Barack Obama has not been to North Dakota yet. I'm sure you're aware that the flooding here in neighboring North Dakota has gotten pretty bad. Minot's been an international story with 12,000 folks displaced there. Bismarck, 4,000 folks evacuated. Small communities up and down the Missouri and Souris are not ultimately faring too well right now with this flooding situation. Do you think President Obama ought to visit Minot, especially when he was neighboring Iowa yesterday, or is this like flyover country for Obama, just not enough votes here? What do you make of this?
Well, what I make of it is, one of the first lessons of leadership, when you have a crisis of this kind of magnitude, you got to show up. You got to show up to get a firsthand view of it, to understand it, to be able to lead and respond to it. And it also sends the message to the people who are hurting, who are fighting hard to overcome it, to prevent it, to mitigate it, that you're with them and that you appreciate and applaud and respect what they're doing. And I know he can't be everywhere for every event all the time, but when you're looking at what he did do yesterday versus what he could have done or added to his schedule, particularly when you're that close, it seems to me he should have been there. And when I was governor, I tried my very best to get to every one of those natural disasters, and from a leadership and service and awareness perspective, try to see it firsthand.
Governor, thanks for the time. I know you got a jet. We appreciate the time very much. Good luck on the campaign trail, and good to catch up with you.
Okay, Scott, thank you.
Our friend Tim Pawlenty, the former governor of Minnesota, on the Scott Hennen Show on the Common Sense Club.